In the beginning, as the Prince of Denmark, Hamlet is noble, knowledgeable, brave, and constantly pursuing his true love. He possesses the ability not only to revenge, but also to govern his country. When Hamlet was studying in Germany, he was influenced by humanism. Therefore, he believed the world was an utopia and all mankind was good. His mind is filled with hope and happiness. He praises what a piece of work is a man. How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god. In his letter to Ophelia, he writes, Doubt though the stars are fire, doubt that the sun does move, doubt choose to be a liar, but never doubt I love. At this moment, Hamlet is definitely happy, but kind of naive in some way, because the negative side of the society has never appeared in his life. For friendship, he has his own perspectives. He prefers to treat each other honestly and equally, instead of complying to hierarchical rules. At this time of his life, he is young and positive, and always fantasizing about his future. He is a happy prince, with high social status, fame, and love. However, fate changed Hamlet's life completely. At the beginning of the act, three strikes fall upon Hamlet: the death of his father, the remarriage of his mother, and the loss of his kinship. All of this puts the happy prince into the sad reality. His outlook for the world starts to change. The place, originally like a fairy tale for him, becomes a prison. He even says to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern that Denmark is the worst prison in the world. He sighs, I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercise. He is gloomy and overwhelmed by sadness. The world appears to be a desert with poisonous weed. Love is no longer loyal. Within the 2 months of the death of the old king, the queen has already crawled into Claudius' bed. Even animals would have more longer. Friendship is unreliable, and selfish Rosencrantz and Guildenstern become spies for the king to monitor Hamlet's behavior. Even his love of Ophelia becomes a tool for his enemies to check his inner emotion. When Hamlet sees the chance to kill Claudius, he starts to hesitate. There are several reasons that causes his indecisiveness. Firstly, there must be an obvious evidence to expose Claudius' crimes. Secondly, whether Hamlet's own action would be enough punishment for Claudius. Thirdly, the question to be or not to be has been bothering Hamlet. The question is not only about life and death, it is also about the value of doing something and whether to do it or not. The rational thoughts will guide the action, but too much thinking causes people missing their opportunities. Apprehensive heart means a weak heart. Because too much thinking about the outcome, people will be unwilling to make the final decision. He had the reason, the determination, the strength, and the chance to kill Claudius easily. In Act 3, Hamlet lets Claudius live because he thinks, now I will do it. Now he's praying, and now I will do it. And so he goes to heaven. When Hamlet meets Claudius praying for his sin, the thought of revenge flashes across his mind. Then he turns to contemplate about whether it is the right time to retaliate. Hamlet thinks that killing Claudius while he's praying will send him to heaven, but he doesn't want the villain to go to heaven. Therefore, Hamlet's revenge first becomes a mind struggle, and he becomes indecisive. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword, the observed of all observers. This is the praise Ophelia used to have for Hamlet, but when Hamlet meets the actual problem, he becomes slow in action and only knows thinking. The procrastination of Hamlet is not for prolonging the play, and it is the exact key to show the struggling of the soul. Hamlet is confused by the choices, and this confusion is caused by the weakness of human nature. This is exactly the question Shakespeare wants to ask everyone. to be or not to be. Hamlet, facing the obstacles created by fate in the beginning, has a hard time choosing, carrying the cross of revenge, struggling on the blade of fate, suffering from the unavoidable pain. Hamlet cannot make his decision. It is because of Hamlet's attitude toward fate that causes him not being able to choose between life and death. He is questioning everything around him, the hypocrisy of humanity, the fickleness of the society, and the unfairness of the world. Eventually, he reaches the apex of questioning status, and he begins the question to be or not to be. At this time, Hamlet's priority is to revenge and revive his country. This thinking about life and death is ultimately a burden for Hamlet, and it promotes Hamlet's hesitant personality even more. If he chooses to be, he must use his cruelty to punish Claudius until he gets his revenge. However, in this process, Hamlet's going to lose his kindness. Therefore, this choice is not suitable for the noble prince. If Hamlet chooses not to be, he will be abandoning his responsibilities, which is the mission for revenge that the King Hamlet gives him. The body will be free after death, but the soul will not be able to rest in peace. Hamlet hovers around these two choices, struggling in pain. This is a spiritual battle. Therefore, Hamlet is procrastinating, and the whole play is waiting for him. The wheel of fate keeps turning, but even if we can't see the result, we can still sense the little bit of tragic ending. The end of the play is the fight between Hamlet and Laertes, and it ends up with the death of the six major characters. Personality defines fate. This is the truth. Hamlet's personality foreshadows the tragic ending of his fate. Because of this personality, he is suffering from the idea of revenge. Vengeance becomes everything in his life, which leads up to his vicious insults to his mother and his indifferent attitude towards Ophelia, causing he ends up killing Ophelia's father. In the end, he falls under his enemy's trap, although he succeeded in revenge, but all the happiness in his life shattered. There are two reasons that causes Hamlet's tragedy. Subjectively speaking, it is because his weak personality, hesitant, and the limitation of humanism. For Hamlet himself, he is from the upper class. He receives the advanced education. Therefore, his spiritual world is more idealistic. But because of his identity as a royalty, he strays away from the real society. Once something unpredictable happens and it needs him to act, he is perplexed. Since Hamlet is good at thinking rather than taking actions, the tragic ending is unavoidable.